Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something super practical and honestly kind of essential: how to check your Kansas driver's license status online. It is surprisingly easy to do, but as we're going to see, knowing exactly where you stand with the Kansas Department of Revenue, or KDOR, is absolutely critical. Let me ask you something. Are you absolutely sure your Kansas driver's license is valid right now, today? You might immediately think, well, yeah, of course it is. But administrative hiccups happen all the time. Okay, let's dive into this and look at why taking just a couple of minutes to verify your status could save you a massive headache on the road. Picture this real-life scenario drawn straight from our source material. Imagine a driver who just moved to a new apartment in Kansas, but with all the chaos of unpacking, they totally forget to update their address with the state. Fast forward a month, and an unpaid ticket gets sent to their old address. They completely miss the notice, the state suspends their license, and they literally have no idea until they see flashing red and blue lights in their rearview mirror. Just like that, a simple paperwork oversight becomes a major legal issue. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the hidden risks, gather exactly what you need, walk step by step through the online process, decode your results, talk about resolving potential issues, and wrap up with a quick summary. All right, Section 1, the hidden driving risks. You know, the Kansas Division of Vehicles can suspend a driver's license for a surprising variety of reasons. We're talking suspensions from unpaid traffic fines or penalties from a DUI. Even just failing to provide proof of insurance can trigger suspension. And going back to our earlier scenario, there's an actual statutory mandate, KSA 8-248, that strictly requires drivers to notify the state whenever they change their address. Missing that mandate is a fast track to miss notices and completely unexpected suspensions. Moving right along to Section 2, what you need to check. Before you jump online, let's make sure you've got everything ready. You just need a few basic things. First, a phone or computer with an internet connection. Next, grab your actual physical driver's license. You're going to need your alphanumeric driver's license number, your first name, your last name, and your date of birth formatted as a 2-digit month, 2-digit day, and 4-digit year. The absolute key here, and I can't stress this enough, is that you must enter your name exactly as it is printed on the card. Section 3, the online walkthrough process. And this brilliantly illustrates just how straightforward this system is. Here is your step-by-step walkthrough. First, navigate to the free KDOR driver's license status check portal. Second, and this is where a lot of people stumble, enter your driver's license number with absolutely no dashes and no spaces. Just type the characters. Third, input your exact first name, last name, and date of birth. Finally, just click that check status button. That's really it. Now, when you hit submit, you're tapping into a very specific database, and it's important to understand what it can and can't do. The Kansas database syncs up in real time with local law enforcement networks. So what you see on your screen is exactly what a police officer sees if you get pulled over in Kansas. However, the system only shows your driving eligibility within Kansas. It doesn't track or display sanctions you might have from other states. Let's head into Section 4, decoding your license status. Now, what's really interesting about this is how the system breaks down the legal definitions behind the single word you'll get on your screen. If your status comes back as valid, boom, congratulations. You have active, unencumbered driving privileges, and you just need to stick to your normal renewal cycle. Expired simply means the validity period has passed, so you'll need a standard renewal or maybe retesting. And limited usually points to temporary hardship or permit restrictions, meaning you just have to stay within those specific boundaries. On the flip side, you might run into some penalty statuses. If it says suspended, that means your privileges are temporarily withdrawn. Revoked is definitely more severe. Your driving authority is completely terminated, and that's going to require a lengthy administrative review to sort out. And if you see canceled, it usually means your license was voided due to incomplete applications or erroneous data. In that case, you have to surrender the non-compliant credential and go fix the paperwork. I do want to pause specifically on that suspended status for a second to make sure we destigmatize it a bit. A suspension just means your permission to drive is temporarily on hold for a set time frame, often for totally correctable administrative reasons. The great news here is that unlike a total revocation, a suspension has a very clear, straightforward path to reinstatement. Which brings us to Section 5, resolving license issues. Depending on your specific situation, you could actually troubleshoot a lot of this right from the KDR portal. You can pay your reinstatement fees online, or even apply for modified or restricted driving privileges if you qualify. Sometimes fixing a withdrawn status is literally as simple as clearing a bounce check or submitting some missing medical paperwork. And for certain specific offenses, you might need to install an approved ignition interlock device. And actually, here is a really surprising fact directly from the source material. Under Kansas law, drivers who are currently suspended for an alcohol-related offense don't have to just wait out the entire suspension on the sidelines. They can apply to the state and regain their driving privileges early by proving they've installed an approved ignition interlock device through vendors like SmartStart, which has locations all over the state. It's a very direct, proactive route back to legal driving. All right, Section 6, Summary and Legal Disclaimer. If you ever run into website glitches or login errors, don't panic. The KDOR Customer Service Center is totally available for administrative help. Also remember that free Kansas online address change portal we mentioned? Definitely use that whenever you move. If you do need an interlock device, resources like SmartStart are easily accessible statewide. And, of course, the absolute best tip of all is to just maintain a good driving record to prevent these holds entirely. So the crucial point to take away from all of this is this simple 4-step chronological journey. Gather your exact credentials, check your status regularly on the free KDOR portal, decipher the exact status code you get back, and finally, take immediate troubleshooting action online if you see anything other than valid. As we wrap up this explainer, I do need to read our official disclaimer. This information reflects the state's real-time system as outlined in our source material, but viewers must verify with official resources or legal counsel for the most current practices and policies. We are an explainer guide, not formal legal counsel. I want to leave you with one final thought. Seriously, when was the very last time you checked the status of your own Kansas driver's license? If you can't remember, it might be time to take 5 minutes today and use the online portal. Thank you so much for joining us for this explainer. If you found this structured breakdown helpful, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more practical guides. See you next time.